The Raptors pick up a tough road win over the Milwaukee Bucks. 117-111 is the final. That's now 4 straight for the Raps. I'm Randy Urban, and this is Raptors Night Cap. Tonight, we're joined once again by Amy Audibert, Sherman Hamilton, and Paul Jones. Amy, I'm going to start with you tonight. After allowing a season high in points in that first half, the Raptors hold the Bucks to 3 of 21 shooting in that third quarter. What changed defensively in your mind?
Well, I thought they did a good job of just not giving up any threes. The Bucks did not hit a three in that entire third quarter, but they only got 8 off. So I thought, it was the whole package, right? Just a bit more cohesion on the defensive end, a little bit more intensity. Guys just on a string together, probably some better communication. We weren't there, but you just saw an overall pickup in intensity. And really, when a team is shooting that hot, I think when you have that break at the half, that's part of the conversation. Is they're probably not going to sustain this the whole game. But they did a good job again of just picking up the overall intensity on the defensive end.
Yeah, Jonesy, that's kind of what I was feeling too. Like I never really felt like the Raptors weren't going to make a run there in that second half just because of the way how hot, Milwaukee was shooting. It just wasn't sustainable in my eyes. Not with the way the Raptors play.
No, it wasn't. And to Amy's point, if you're the Raptors, it's just you gotta try harder. You gotta play better. Like this is, in college, you run a play to get a kid an open shot and you hold your breath if you make it. These guys, this is what they do. Like they get paid for this. If you leave them open, they're knocking stuff down and they're going to hurt you. And I thought it showed itself right at the start of the third quarter. Toronto came out, scored got a couple of stops and a couple of scores right away, as if to say, all right, we're not going through this foolishness again. And the overall, it carried over the overall second half. They held Milwaukee to less than half the points that they scored in the first half, held them under 30%. Like that defense is at times a measure of effort, urgency, and intensity. And I thought it was much, much better in the second half for Toronto.
Sherm, where did you see the game kind of turn for the Raptors?
Well, in that third quarter, again, both Amy and Jonesy talked about it. That third quarter, the Raptors really locked in and did a much better job of making Milwaukee feel them. In the first half, it seemed to me like Giannis was on the floor with the amount of wide open looks that Milwaukee was getting, because when Giannis is on the floor, he attracts so much attention that those guys are shooting almost practice threes sometimes. I thought Nwora, I thought Wes Matthews, Bobby Portis, all these guys just seem to be taking shots where the Raptors were 3, 4, 5 feet away from contesting the shot. They're late. So I think it was just one of those conversations that not even Nick Nurse had to have with them. They knew it. They went into that locker room and they understood that this is not Raptor defense and they had to get after it. And it's not like they were blocking shots, but they were making Milwaukee feel some more pressure on those passes and on those shots. And that's the difference. Milwaukee was shooting around 62% from the three-point line in that first half. We all know it's not going to stay up there, but the Raptors made sure it plummeted hard in that third quarter, and that, to me, is what changed the game.
You mentioned Wes Matthews, and I just want to point out, I am so tired of that celebration. It's weak. I don't want to see that
Stop
anymore.
Hating.
Come on. You're running down the floor and trying to pull out an arrow. I'm like,
stop
that's
hating,
not for me.
man.
It's not for me, man. Amy, let's talk Pascal Siakam. He's really reached another level in my mind.
Yeah, 33 points, but you go on 23 attempts. He's just been super efficient, and that's tough to do. And in situations, when you look at the first half when things weren't going great, at least on the defensive end for the Raptors, when they were down, it would have been easy for Pascal to just push and push and push and maybe take things that weren't as great, but he doesn't. And he's played within himself so much. Again, it's just at some point, is it just what you expect, which is that's a high bar for anybody. But again, I just think he's been so great when he's got the ball in his hands. The other thing he did a really good job of tonight, off the ball, cutting, moving, even that quick when they used him in a ball screen up at the top. I love that look because it gives him so much room as the roller or the slipper to operate. And his skill set alone, right? If he's got smaller, he can break them down. If he's got bigger, he can break them down. And he's been really patient. Like I always say, be quick, don't hurry. That's been Pascal. It seems like everything, most of the time, he's under complete control of himself. And he's really hard to guard one-on-one.
Yeah. Jonesy, you hear a lot of the talk that he mentions when he's interviewed, all the extra work he's putting in. Have you heard anything specific about his work ethic or the things he's doing through the grapevine? You got your ear to the grindstone on these types of things.
No, well, no, not really. But I mean, extra work means getting into the gym. Like that's, and that's what it is. And times when, people don't think, these guys are going to the gym at 10:30 at night. They're showing up early. They're calling assistant coaches to get work in. And we have to remember, and we've talked about this before, Pascal came back with the season already going. And he was coming back from shoulder surgery. It's not like he came back from shoulder surgery and he had training camp and a few preseason games and everybody was at the same point at the start of the season. Those guys were further down the road than him when he joined the party. They'd already had training camp. They were healthy. They'd already had training camp. They played 15 or 20 games. Now you bring Pascal in, coming off shoulder surgery, no training camp. These guys have already played 15, 20 games throughout the entire league. Okay, get in there. Oh, by the way, and you're going to get all the attention from the other team because you're at the top of the scouting report. He's rounding back into all-star form right now. And, as for the extra work, he just realized, I got to catch up, and this is what I'm going to have to do. So, good for him. And that's what it's about, to be professional in this league. Put that time in.
Yeah. Sherman, what I'm loving about Siakam right now is his demeanor. He just looks like he's having fun out there. And I love him getting into it with Bobby Portis too at the end.
Bobby Portis is a dangerous dude, man.
Yeah, well.
You don't want to get anything from Bobby Portis. He's a pretty serious guy.
Yeah, I wasn't loving that too much myself. I was like,
what do you mean? What do you mean?
And
get into it.
Listen, every team needs a little crazy.
Yeah.
Bobby Portis is that guy.
Yeah,
sure, but stand up.
Time and score. There's a time when you got to reel it in. And I was like, don't do it, Pascal. Do not get baited into that. You guys are up. It was late game. And I guess to your point, though, is that he's just confident and he's cool. And he's like,
yeah. It's part of a whole demeanor for me that he's like standing up to that kind of stuff too. Like nobody's going to fight in the NBA. Like, let's be honest. So I don't mind that extra energy. They're like barking at each other during free throws. Give me some more of that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you like that stuff, Herb. You seem like that type of fluff guy. But I will say this, with Pascal and his ability to play at a high level, it's, great players and players that want to take that next step. I find that they know they can score. They know they can put points on the board. But Pascal, to me, had to have one of those conversations with himself when he was out with that injury and said, I got to come back. I know people are expecting me to do certain things, but I got to come back better. And he took control of the things that he could control. He's a better rebounder. Pascal's too quick and too athletic to not be a good rebounder. He's shown us that when he decides to rebound the basketball, he's a very good rebounder. Defensively, we've seen him take another step in terms of his energy, his ability to be active. Miami had this philosophy when they had the big three of being in two places at once almost. Pascal has that length and that quickness that if he commits to it, he can do that for segments of the game. The fact that he's scoring with efficiency, there's another determination that he made that I'm not going to settle. I'm going to stay in attack mode, 2 feet in the paint. I'm going to make plays around the basket, and that's paid off dividends as well. He's taken that next step because he's challenged himself to approach the game differently. And I think that's what you're speaking to, Randy. When you're executing like that, there's a joy about what you're doing because it's working. You're feeling you're having a lot of success, but you're just not a one-dimensional player. And Pascal is impacting the game on a few levels right now, and the Raptors are better for it.
And he's facilitating the ball too, Sherm, to your point. That's the other layer. And he's getting his teammates involved, and that adds that other little layer of the joy because he's getting his numbers, but he's impacting winning basketball. And that feels good, I think, for everybody.
Jones, just for the record, I'm not the hold me back guy. Okay. I'm not that guy. Right?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
No, you're, you know what you are? You're the guy that starts the stuff. And when it gets going, all of a sudden you're in the back somewhere.
The bigger people need to step in. That's fine.
But you spread the gas and say to somebody, hey, here's a match. What do you think?
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah. Amy,
get it
don't
going.
agree with that. That's not
I kind of
true.
do, Randy, though. You've got the
She
facts,
knows. What do
right?
you mean don't agree? She's talking truth.
Amy, let's talk a little Champagnie real quick because everybody loves the little things that he does. But just specifically, what are those little things? Tell the fans that you like, or the things that you like out there from him.
I've liked his progression this season. Like he came in and as a two-way undrafted player and was like, when I get my number called, I'm just gonna bring some energy and I'm gonna go get rebounds because he's really good at that at his size.
Mhm.
And now we're seeing him kind of push that a little bit. He said yesterday, he takes 200 corner threes every morning. So yesterday he goes in and he hits like 4 threes and 2 of them from the corner. So now when he steps on the court tonight, Milwaukee has to respect him and guard him as a shooter. But by the way, he's still really good floating around the rim. It's weird at his size. You wouldn't think that would be his number one advantage, especially as a rookie, but he's really good at his timing and kind of just being patient and then making that like one step and we've seen Pascal go to him. Like it's been, again, it hasn't happened like, boom, I get into the game and I need to prove myself, but he's embraced the process. And that being said, it's only January.
Yeah, you know what I think is really interesting about him is that he does a good job of presenting himself in space. You know, the ball's being dribbled or attacking the rim, and he finds those gaps in the defense to really present himself as a receiver of a pass. And that's something that for a young player, it's really interesting to see. You know, playing off the ball, sometimes guys can get stagnant. They're ball watching. Oh, the shot's going up. I'm going to make a run at the basket now to try and rebound. But on the penetration, the movement that he makes is very conducive to creating openings for the ball handler as well as himself and then other teammates if other people help. And that's a very, very intellectual approach, understanding spacing and timing of cuts. And for a young player, it's great to see him understand that philosophy.
Jonesy, let's do a little bit of overtime real quick. Would you say that this is the best that the Raptors have played this season, this stretch?
Yeah, it is, because, and the 5-game win streak notwithstanding earlier in the season, they've got everybody here. And we saw that in the 5-game winning streak too. They had people present and they're getting people back now. I know, there's still a couple guys out. Svi and Utah have gone into protocols, but they'll be back. And I think for the first time we're seeing what Masai, Bobby, Nick, what they envisioned when they put this lineup together. Again, we saw it at the start of the second quarter. We saw Boucher and Achua on the floor with Scotty, Pascal, and OG. 5 guys between 6'8" and 6'10". 5 ballers. Oh, who's the point guard? Doesn't matter. Pascal take it one time. Scotty take it another time. OG can put it on the floor. Chris Boucher gets another one of those blocks late in the quarter. He leads the league in, geez, where did that guy come from? I never saw him coming block, right? And I think this is what the front office and the coaching staff envisioned, and it's coming to fruition, and they're healthy now in the middle of the season. So now it's a matter of nurturing it, developing it, and having it hardened under pressure for when you need it, hopefully come playoff time.
Amy, real quick, how nice was that barn shot in the first, that 1-foot step back? Who'd that remind you of?
Dirk.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, Dirk, it kind of reminds me of Scotty. Like, this is what he does. This is what I think he's going to continue to show us. That's going to be something. I don't think you're going to have to treasure that because you're going to see another one again.
And Sherb, just to close the show, for the record, it was Bobby Portis that started that, blocking the shot down like 7 with like 45 seconds to go and screaming, like, don't be that guy. Okay. And you were probably
love
that
Bobby.
guy.
Look at this guy. He loves Bobby Portis.
No, I'm not that guy, Herbs. I'm also not the guy that's going to instigate a fight. And I'm also not the guy who's going to support your nonsense.
Okay. All right. Well, see if you're on the show next time.
Boy.
You wish you had that kind of control, don't you?
Yeah.
Wrap it up. Wrap the show.
I heard.
There
I
we
heard
go.
they
I'll
were
direct
calling
you.
this.
Wrap it up.
I heard they were calling this the Randall Urban Good Time Hour. So,
That's
like,
right.
is that you need an invite now?
It feels like that right now. It feels like that, or just rip on me. That's the way the show goes now. Thanks for doing this, guys. Got to stop you there. Next game for the Raptors, Friday night back at Scotiabank Arena against the Utah Jazz. Tip off 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then.